patience. Now, that's something that sounds a lot easier than it actually is to achieve. Now, when you're creating, manifesting, how many times have the initial purges of what the universe needs to move out of the way, how many times have those begun and just happened so quickly, it's so violently, so rapidly? Pieces start moving all over the place, and it's easy to not be able to catch your breath and to get scared, to be truthful. Now, when we try to make a large change in our life and we're asking for the universe's help, we know going in that it's not just going to get delivered on a silver platter, right? I mean, you don't just ask for it and the next morning it shows up knocking at your door. No, the universe is going to have to come in and involve others, involve a bunch of moving pieces. Some of that's going to be painful because inevitably, wherever you are, if you're trying to get somewhere else, you've probably made a few wrong turns along the way and you kind of feel stuck, and well, now you're going to have some things change. Now, myself, seems for me the only way that I can really affect change is that when I get to the point where I'm so aggravated that I tell the universe, just go ahead and put me in a position where I have no choice but to make the change that I need to make to get to where I want to be. See, many times there's things that we don't want to do, changes that we don't want to make, that, just left to our own devices, we wouldn't make them and we'd remain stuck. So many times, instead of just trying to fight that, because it's human nature, you're only going to fight that for so long. Instead of fighting that, just accept it and use it against yourself. I know how it sounds, but just try it. If there's a change you need to make in order to get to where you want to be, or even if you're unsure of what the changes are that you need to make, just ask the universe to force you to do it. And they will find a way. Believe me, sometimes it'll happen immediately, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but if you ask the universe to move pieces out of the way and to make it so that you don't have a choice but to do what you need to do, oh, it'll find a way, believe me. It's not going to mess around. You see, the key to it is recognizing when it happens and acknowledging it when it happens. See, if you don't really know the changes you have to make, you're not going to recognize them when they come. And if you do know the changes you need to make, well, you're probably still going to put up some resistance, even though you just asked the universe to force your hand. So it's important when these things start to become imperative in your life, when they just slap you upside the head, it's important to recognize them for what they are. It's simply Spirit doing what you asked it to do. And oh boy, if you ignore that message, you're in for a long day, or maybe a few days. So it's important when those things happen to make sure that you're paying attention, paying close attention, especially to messages that you would not normally accept. Or maybe it comes in the form of a fight or something that you feel like you should stick up for yourself, or you should not let this happen. But keep in mind, you just asked to be forced. So you can't control that. You have to be willing to be forced. You have to want what you want bad enough so that you're willing to be forced to do things that you might not want to do. And when you're faced with those choices, you have to have the guts to go ahead and do them, because it's just what you asked for. You're just getting what you asked for. And if you ask the universe for those things and then you ignore it, well, good luck. That's all I can say. You're just going to be digging yourself a bigger hole. You have to pay attention to those things when you ask to be forced to make a change. So, This might come from a place of fear. The original request might come from a place of fear where you're afraid to make the changes and you know the only way you'll do it is by being forced to. That's okay. As long as when the changes present, that fear slips away and you recognize it for what it is. The universe is doing what you've asked it to do, so you can't fear those changes any longer. Because if it wasn't what was along your path, if it wasn't going to move you forward, the universe would not present you with those challenges. That's the easiest part to remember. It's there for a reason. The hardship is there for a reason. So, just keep in mind when you get frustrated and you just yell at the sky or you yell at yourself and you say, "What do you want from me?" Just keep in mind that you're going to get an answer, but you're going to have to make sure you're willing to accept it.